Hi, welcome to another lesson for strumming the ukulele. Today's lesson is on the gallop and shuffle strum. Before we get started, what you want to do is you want to pause your tutorial right now. Go ahead and grab your music sheet that says gallop, shuffle, strum, and then you want to tune up your ukulele and then come on back. So we'll pause here for about a couple of seconds. Go ahead and get your music sheet and tune up your ukulele, and then we'll get started. Okay, so you got your music sheet and ukulele's tuned. I want to talk about this particular strum. First of all, it's a gallop shuffle strum. It's mostly known as a shuffle strum in the music community. However, I'm going to be using the word gallop strum because I find that it helps the student to learn faster. But if you ever hear the shuffle strum, that's basically what it is. It's a shuffle strum. Okay, now I'll discuss the gallop in a minute or two. There's two ways that I want to show you how the strum works. For you, those of you that understand a little bit about music, if you see at the very top of your music sheet, you see 1 niana, 2 niana, 3 niana, 4 niana. Okay, well, the strum, the beat, is made up of 1 niana. That's a beat, 1 niana. So it looks like this. Down, this is the downbeat, this is the upbeat, okay? 1 knee and a 2. Once again, 1 knee and a 2. And then you see 1 niana, 2 niana, 3 niana, 4 niana, 1. That's basically one measure coming back to the 1. Then beneath that, you're going to see 1, and then you see a arrow, upwards arrow, and the letter A, and then you see a downwards arrow. There's down strum for under the number 2, and it basically repeats its pattern throughout the line. So what's happening there is that your strum, your accents are on the 1 and the and then once again on the downbeat of the 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. Now, in class, when I teach this particular strum, I don't teach it 1 niana, 2 niana, or 1 or 2. I don't teach it that way. Because most folks, unless you have some musical training or musical experience, find this a little hard to grasp, and it takes a little while. However, most folks learn faster in doing some kind of association. Therefore, the reason why I call it a gallop strum is because I want you to imagine that you're riding a horse, okay? And you're picturing the horse galloping and its hooves galloping and traveling and moving on the ground and making the sound of a horse galloping, which sounds something like this. Dig-a-ding, dig-a-ding, dig-a-ding. And if we were to speed up the gallop, a faster gallop would sound dig-a-ding, 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 a horse galloping. Now, what it is when you're picturing the gallop of a horse, the back hooves are coming up and then the front hooves are coming down on the downbeat. So dig-a-ding, 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 dig-a-ding. Now when you're learning this strum, you want to constantly think about the horse galloping, and as the horse comes down on his 2 front hooves, he's coming, that's the 1, that's the downbeat, the 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Okay? So in other words, it looks and sounds something like this. I'm just holding my strings dead. There's no sound. Dig-a-ding, 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 dig-a-ding. So that's how you want to think about it. So you want to think about it as the as you're galloping, dig-a-ding, 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 dig-a-ding. You want to really feel that downbeat, okay? So go ahead and just kind of do this with me. Make sure that you're on a downbeat. So I just give you a little 4 count and do this with me, and then I start doing the horse galloping sound. I want you to do that horse galloping sound with me when you start getting comfortable. Here we go. 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to make the galloping sound. Dig-a-ding, 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 dig-a-ding. And go ahead and do that with me. Dig-a-ding, 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 dig-a-ding. Okay? Now I want you to do that several times till you get comfortable. Okay. Now, at this point, if you are ready to move on, we're going to move on into the actual strumming of some chords that's on your music sheet. However, if you are having just a little bit of difficulty, what you want to do is you want to pause the tutorial here, or you want to back it up and try this beginning section again to get comfortable, and then we'll move on. So what I'll do is I'll just review a little bit before we move on. I'll give a 4 count and we'll try the galloping strum, and you want to make that sound of the horse galloping to help you feel that. I'll do the 4 count a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do-ga-ding, 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 do-ga-ding. Okay, so you want to try that. And when you do that, when you start to picture that, you cannot help but feel the downbeat, like the horse galloping, and the hooves are coming down on the downbeat. Do-ga-ding, 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 do-ga-ding. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So technically, when you're strumming, you're always touching the string. Just the accent, if you refer to the music sheet, is on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So go ahead and back up if you need to. And if not, we're moving on. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the first line of that music line, C, F, C, F, G7, and then you see the repeat sign, which is 2 dots and 2 bars. Okay, so we're going to play that twice, and then we're going to end on the C. Here's the 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. F. Repeat. End on the C. Okay, so you want to try that again. Okay, now if that's too fast, what you want to do is just pause the tutorial and then try it at a slower speed. Now I want to talk about the next line that we're going to do here before we play. You see C7, F7, C7, G7. Okay, now if you look at the bottom of your page in the left-hand corner right here, you see that there's an F7. Now basically that's a full bar chord F7, so you know, yes, it sounds nice, but it might be difficult for some people. So I want to recommend you make it an easy F7. Okay, here's your fingering. Go ahead and pause the tutorial for a second if you need to get your fingering, because this tutorial, I mean this F7 chord is not located on your chord chart and it's not on your music sheet. Okay, if you notice, it's just the lower note right here is left out, but this is an easier version of making F7. Go ahead and pause it, check it out, try it a few times, and we'll get started again. Okay, so you decide which F7 you're going to make. I'm going to make the easy F7 version as we play along with this second line of the music, which is C7, F7, C7, G7, and then repeat. This is going to start getting you ready for the blues exercise that's coming up in your later lessons. Okay, so here we go. Here's a 4 count, starting with the C7. 1, 2, 3, 4, C7, F7, C7, G7, repeat, C7, F7, C7, G7, and end on the C7. Okay, so go ahead and give that a try. If that was a little bit too difficult, meaning if it was too fast, what you want to do is you want to slow it down. So in other words, I'll just play it one time without repeat. If that was too fast, slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, the F7, C7, G7, and then this. I didn't play the repeat, but the idea is that if it's too fast for you, you want to slow it down. And naturally, if it's too easy for you, well, it's okay to speed it up. Okay, so give that a try. That's galloping, the Gallop strum, and try to understand that. And that last exercise that we just did with the C7, F7, C7, etc., is getting you ready for the blues lessons that are coming up shortly in this course. Okay, so when you're ready, we shall see you for the next lesson.